Well, all right, there we have it. 2021, it's over. 2021 F1 season is over. Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're watching again, Austin Jones. Let's talk some F1. Talk about Lewis Hamilton. Did he get robbed or did he not? Who really deserves to be the winner? Obviously, Max Verstappen took it, but of course, everyone's not happy about that decision. So we're going to look into why some calls were made, and in the end, was Lewis robbed of being the driver's champion of the 2021 season? All right, let's hop right into it. There's no doubt in my mind that this season has been maybe the craziest season of Formula One. I mean, statistically speaking, you have the best driver, Lewis Hamilton, and then this 23-year-old, 24-year-old, Max Verstappen coming up, really challenging the title. So, I mean, what an incredible season it was. And honestly, the ending did not disappoint. So let's take a look at who should have won this race. There's no doubt that throughout the entire thing, Lewis Hamilton was faster. He was just faster at any point besides at the very end, when Max he pitted and put on fresh hards, and then he was catching up, but not enough to close the gap. Then eventually, right, when the whole Latifi crash happened, he put on fresh softs, obviously fresh softs, like 35 laps with hards. Obviously those softs are going to be faster. But generally speaking, throughout the entire race, Lewis Hamilton he was quicker. He was pulling away from Max. If there was no Latifi crash, Hamilton would have won. Now, obviously, that's, Formula One, it's an unpredictable sport. So, Latifi crashes. Next, safety car comes out. No shocker there. It's not a virtual safety car, it's actual safety car. And it's Lewis Hamilton, safety car, Lewis Hamilton, and then blanking on the number, maybe 4 drivers, right? Max immediately goes into the pits, and he goes to put on fresh softs, comes out behind those, 4 or 5 drivers, however many it was. Hamilton's still in the lead. Now, Hamilton asks, do I pit? They say no, because their main thing was maintaining track position, which, he stays out. He's in the lead. 36, 35 lap tires on him, So following the safety car, Max is on fresh softs. Still, 4 or 5 cars in between them, but these cars are lapped, right? And typically what happens during safety cars is that the lapped cars go in front of the safety car, right? And they get unlapped. Now, this is so close to the end of the race. They're literally on lap 54, 55, 56 of the 58 lap race. And the stewards, FIA, says that they're not going to allow those lapped cars to pass the safety car, meaning that there's still the gap between Lewis and Verstappen of about 4 or 5 cars, which just makes Verstappen's job ridiculously hard. Now, they normally let those cars pass, but they didn't in this case because it was so close to the end, and they thought that the only way they were going to see another lap of racing by the time they got the debris cleared up was to just let those cars sit there, because it takes longer for them to pass. Makes sense. So that was the rule. They had the radio message. Christian Horner was saying, why aren't these cars going? All this other stuff. And, Mercedes was happy about that. Hamilton was happy about that. Horner, Red Bull, not happy about that. And then something changes. I'm not exactly sure what happens, but they come out with another message. FIA says, hey, we're gonna let these lapped cars pass the safety car, meaning it's just Lewis on 35 lap old tires, right behind him, Verstappen on fresh softs. I mean, nightmare situation. And what a change that was. I think there has been a bit of an issue with kind of, the FIA on, make the rules clear. And I believe that this is the first or second season where we hear the FIA radio messages with the teams, but, obviously no incident, no situation is identical to another, but there has been a big call for some consistency, right? So at first, they claimed to everyone, it was on everyone's TV, we're not going to let these lap cars pass, meaning there's a gap between the two. And then all of a sudden, just about as the safety car is ending, they say, hey, we're going to let these cars go, and they have one lap left. And as we saw, Max was able to do it, So just what a crazy ending, When it comes down to it, there are a few questions, right? Should the FIA have had to stick to what they normally always do and at first just let the cars pass? Maybe Hamilton would have pitted in that case, right, and put on fresh softs because he was quicker than the Red Bull at all times. Should they have stuck with their first decision and say, we're not going to let the lapped cars pass, instead of changing it last minute? There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, but I really think that's the beauty of F1 to an extent. Obviously, we want the rules to be consistent, but, even when you might think Hamilton has it in the bag, 7 laps left, what's going to happen? Everything completely changes, So let me know in the comments. Do you think Hamilton got robbed? Do you think that this was kind of stolen from him? Or do you think it was justified? Max, deserves on this race to be crowned champion. Would love to hear what you think. Again, trying to grow the channel. Feel free to subscribe. It would mean a lot. And hey, let's look forward to a 2022 phenomenal F1 season. Many, many more battles to have. Last but not least, lifetime supply of Red Bull for this guy. He is their savior. All right, appreciate you watching. Catch you next time.